Um, but also, like, we want everybody to be able to fulfill whatever their personal potential is, right? You know, like we don't want anybody, like that Stephen Jay Gould quote that you used in your video. We don't want anybody who could have contributed what Einstein contributed to the world to not do that because they had to work all day in fields or in a sweatshop, or in Shane Gang, right? We want people who could be like Paul Robeson, right? To be able to contribute what somebody like Robeson contributed artistically without being held back either by the sort of racial caste system that Robeson had to work so hard to get past, or just by poverty, right? Just by not being in a position to develop that talent, right? Because they have to spend all of their time, working just to get by, and like really, I think that there is a reason why socialists have always used this language of freedom, right? Even
Hmm.
it's right there in the Communist Manifesto, right? The free development of each and the free development of all, because we want. And I mean, I know at this point in the episode, it's like probably getting repetitive, but like I just think this is such an incredibly important point, right? Like, we care about everybody being able to live their own life however the hell they want to live it, right? You can't build a spaceship if other people need to eat, right? Like we'll draw the line there, but but we want people to be able to live the lives that they want to live and not be constrained either by literal chain gangs, or just by like a system that makes some people spend their days doing mind-numbing labor so they can enrich others.
I think so, 100%. I would just add like it's freedom and it's grit. And I use that word grit specifically because the grit that I'm talking about, the Waylon Jennings, that kind of outlaw country grit, um, is, standing up for yourselves, but also like a refusal, kind of radical refusal to recognize like the social relations there. So like when you have a police officer or somebody like that, doing something wrong, you stand up to them, even if you know you're going to get, beat or hit or whatever. Um, and I say that story, for example, like the Blackjack County chain song. I think about a great lyric that Paul Robeson sang. So Paul Robeson wrote, I cannot remember the movie he sang this in, but he sang this song called Old Man River, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
very famous song. I mean, it's a beautiful rendition, but the original lyrics are quite, minstrelly, right? They were about, kind of African American man in the South who was sort of, whimsical, all those kind of stereotypes. And Paul Robeson throughout his life started changing the lyrics to that song until this song that was, a kind of parody, became like almost a radical cry for change. And I won't do the, so like in the original version, there's a line that said like, you get a little drunk and you land in jail, right? We're just saying like, okay, so all these people who are in jail, they're just drunk, they're just sort of stupid, right? But Paul Robeson later changed it and he says, you show a little grit and you land in jail. And that was the real experience that was happening at that time, as people were standing up against these systems and they were being thrown in prison, right? So that grit goes all the way through. And I think that that's also something that, we really need to be reclaiming in our politics and our communities.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, like you don't want to see any of this stuff, right? Like to the opposition politically, that this is something um, that we care about everybody getting to exercise
Mm-hmm.
everything that's valuable in their lives. And by the way, I also want to mention the Robeson discussion reminded me. I'll put it in the show notes. There's a Robeson song that I really love, that the audio recording, and I don't know what images they put with it, is on YouTube. I believe it might have been from one of his trips to the Soviet Union. I'm not sure, but he's singing a song in Yiddish from the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising,
That's
and
amazing.
it's just incredibly powerful. Um, and I remember, God, a couple of years ago, when there was that synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, in a neighborhood I used to live in. Actually, I used to pass by that place every day. And at the same time, the fascist Bolsonaro government had just come to power in Brazil, and it was a very bleak couple months there. And and there was a while like when I was processing those news items when I was listening to that song, quite a bit, right? It's like it's really powerful and inspiring, right? To hear him do that, just in that amazing Paul Robeson baritone.
No, that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, yeah, Paul Robeson's understanding of like, the folk traditions too, and just like how powerful singing other people's songs can really be. And singing other people's songs, I don't even like that language. Like singing songs that are like from your history or tradition,
Sure,
and
they're produced
recognizing them as international human songs of like liberation. That was what he did. Is he like took all these folk songs and songs of specific groups and just like turned them into like the music of the world, which I think was so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like I think that the stuff that our departed brother Michael Brooks talks about in the last chapter of Against the Web, about cosmopolitan socialism, and how like not only should we not get into this weird moralistic framework where we spend all of our time worried about like who's allowed to produce or consume what, and what's appropriative, but rather that we encourage, right, intermingling, because all of this stuff is the collective inheritance of the human race, and we want everybody to be able to enjoy and be inspired by and kind of take into themselves everything that's good from every tradition. So yeah, I think that's really beautiful. I just want to real quick. Somebody in the Q&A says, seeing as you guys are both music buffs in a way, what do you think of Rolling Stone magazine? Just curious. I will say that I think that that over the years there has been really good stuff that's been published there. The Hunter S. Thompson way back when, Matt Taibbi more recently. They've also published a lot of tedious garbage, but maybe you have some thoughts on that.
I mean, I don't have anything too much. The Rolling Stones, there's Rolling Stones actually Country, which has some pretty decent, like really great country reporting in it. But I don't have any particular hot takes. I mean, it's a cool magazine, man. I mean, it has like a really phenomenal history. They publish a lot of garbage too, obviously. I don't have anything too good on it. If people are interested in like any good writing on like country folk music, No Depression is one to check out. But yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, David. So we're going to be off next week because we're not going to make our video editor for us work on Labor Day weekend. But we're going to be back the week after that with Freddie DeBoer to talk about his new book about education, The Call to Smart, and then actually before that, Thomas Frank to talk about his book, The People Know, A Brief History of Anti-Populism, which, by the way, if you haven't read, I think that would like dovetail really neatly with a lot of your interests in the history of populism, like real populism with a capital P. But I hope that you'll be back then to, let's see, I guess do Merle Haggard.
Yeah, sounds good.
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Thanks, brother. Bye.
Bye.